everybody, and welcome to another Vulp? We all love the Vulp, right? However, sometimes you have to move on and grow up. You have to achieve upward momentum in both your flipping and your life. And that's why we made the hard decision. Look, we can't keep doing this.
You have to get a job.
After a bit of tough love, the Vulp finally turned around and became a professional. Let me introduce you to the new and improved Vulp Pro. Sleek, stylish, professional. The release of the original Vulp marked a turning point for the Balisong community. I saw the need for a cheap, high-quality trainer, easily available with a reputable brand behind it for beginners. And I'm very happy to say that I believe the Vulp lived up to this goal and then some. However, the original Vulp does have its quirks. While we've worked directly with Navalis to fix the technical issues, the design has always been beginner-focused, which is especially felt when doing tricks like chaplains. Since its release, I have been thinking about ways to not only improve the Vulp, but to create something that could serve as a direct next step when getting into the Balisong hobby, and then provide another step for those looking for something a little more edgy. Oh yeah, we'll get there. I learned a lot when originally designing the Vulp, and I wanted to take all that I learned and apply it to this new iteration. I would come to find out that that was no easy task.
I'm no easy task!
For me, making improvements to a product that I was already so proud of meant going back to the drawing board, with that process starting as far back as December of 2022. Initial designs were all basically just the Vulp as it is now, with various minor changes that affected the grip and balance. A prototype of this first redesign does exist, but as you can see, it just wasn't the substantial leap over the original that I wanted the Vulp Pro to be. Instead, the true breakthrough for me came in the form of inspiration from two distinct products. The first being the Navalis Trident. When I was first sent it, I wasn't that impressed with the overall flipping performance, but the way that the G10 on the aluminum felt, along with the way the steel hardware at the ends of each handle carried momentum, made me feel like this could be a great path forward. The next product to rock my world was the LDY Cygnus. People have mixed G10 and titanium on Balisongs before, but never to the degree that LDY had with this. They integrated the G10 into the handles in a wholly unique way that I found inspiring. And so after tons of time spent designing and prototyping and redesigning and slapping Brandon and slapping Brandon and slapping Brandon, we finally got to this, the first channel aluminum Balisong with integrated 3D G10 inserts. That's right, 3D G10. I took inspiration from the Cygnus and then extended the idea further than it had ever gone before. I looked at where the original Vulp was lacking grip and addressed each of these areas with a unique solution that still kept the design language alive. If it wasn't obvious, I am very proud of this final product. We wanted to create something that could live up to the Pro title with this Balisong, and I think we really achieved it. We took the design elements from the original and then re-implemented them in interesting ways. It's more of an homage to the Vulp instead of being a direct one-to-one upgrade. Breaking down some of those design changes, I would like to start with the blade. This is the most similar looking part to the original, but it's actually completely different. I wanted to keep the same idea as the original blade while substantially increasing its performance. Inspired by the structure of Brandon's own spine, whoa, I actually tapered the spine of this blade substantially more than the original Vulp. I also changed the shape of these internal cutouts, leaving a lot more material concentrated at the tip of the blade. This creates tip weight and helps carry the momentum of the blade smoothly through each trick. The blade profile itself has also been adjusted, taking everything I've learned about blade design since the original and making it a bit more mature and refined looking. The design of this smaller cutout would actually even be used later for the live blade to give it a fuller to balance out the weight. Next, I began work on the handles, trying to find a way I could reimagine them completely and not just be a small upgrade the way that the first Vulp Pro design was. The process of designing the handles was a back and forth between looking at the original, slapping Brandon,
Fuck you.
And attempting to hide traces of the original design within my new iteration. The chevrons are back in the same spot, but now framed by the G10. That G10 extends down the length of the handles the same way that the centerline did on the original. Finally, it comes to a circular framing of the hardware at the end of the handles that represents the square pattern on the first version. The sides of the handles are where the real interesting parts lie though. The G10 from the faces spreads around the handles with this insert, creating a integrated 3D design. This piece isn't just for show either. You'll also be quite surprised at how much it actually adds to the flipping experience. It's in the perfect spot to add grips to things like rollovers, twirls, giraffes, and shortstops. Wow. Yeah, it wasn't a giraffe though, it's just a regular scissor, but there's the giraffe. See? We also added a faux speed channel cutout to the side to add some extra grip there, but the jimping was so iconic that it just had to stay the same. We did change the finish on the handles though, going from this cheaper bead blast that ended up being relatively slippery to this beautiful shiny satin which has a lot more grip. And it also makes the colors stand out more. Speaking of colors, for the Vulp Pro we decided on a lineup of 6. Black, orange, and teal use white G10 with a silver blade as contrast, and then the red, purple, and gold all use black G10 with a blackened blade, which looks awesome. There are more small changes that I could talk about, like the substantially upgraded hardware and tolerances that make tuning way easier, the upgrade from 6061 to much more durable 7075 aluminum, the much stronger 440C blade steel, or this awesome new hard case that everything comes in, or how slapping Brandon fills me with such joy and glee, but portrays a concerning amount of domestic violence, all in the sake of comedy.
Yeah, we probably should stop doing that.
But I think you're probably more interested in how it flips.
Yahoo.
When it comes to flipping, this thing is an utter beast. Are you milking a cow down there?
Yes, this is my safe space. From you. What else am I supposed to do?
Fair. Of course, me liking how it flips makes sense. I designed the thing, so obviously I'm going to like it. However, my good friend Ethan Blade Bias brought up an interesting point. Because the Vulp Pro so closely matches my flipping preferences due to it being literally designed by me, it can be used very easily as a measuring stick. What I mean by this is that if you get a Vulp Pro, you will immediately know both what I like in a Balisong and if you like it too. This provides a new level of clarity and perhaps even objectivity to my reviews, because if I like a Balisong and you like the Vulp Pro, then you will probably also like the Balisong that I'm reviewing. This hadn't even really occurred to me before, so big shout out to Ethan for this awesome insight, and please check out Blade Bias for some of the best Balisong opinions and critique out there. He even has a podcast with this loser.
Don't make me milk you next. Just kidding, I already did.
Oh my god! Now, let's take a deeper look at what makes the Vulp Pro match my flipping preferences so well. The star of the show immediately is its ability to do chaplains. I really wanted to enhance this experience on the Pro and went through a lot of research looking at different Balisongs in my collection as well as trying all kinds of prototypes. What I found is that both the angle of the spine itself and the distance between the pivots are extremely important for the performance. These spots were tuned in the final design to create something that chaplains incredibly well, sticking to your digits in almost any configuration, including ring finger chaplains, which I do a lot specifically to test how Balisongs flip, because they're kind of difficult.
For you.
When it comes to continuing of momentum, this thing excels as well. You can bring it from combo to combo smoothly without any hiccups because of that tuned balance. The part that contributes to this are both the decisions to have the hardware at the very end of the handle, keeping a concentration of weight focused in that area, mixed with the actual design of the G10 inlays. You can see that the G10 is primarily focused up here at the pivots. This is partially to enhance the grip in this area, of course, but it also helps to change the balance ever so slightly. By removing aluminum from this area and replacing it with lighter G10, I was able to keep the overall weight of the knife light while still creating that perfect level of handle bias that I love. The concentration of aluminum near the middle and end of the handle helps to carry momentum, which results in a more consistent swing. This is where Brandon actually played a relatively large role in the design, pushing us to reduce the weight of the handles by removing more material within the actual channel itself. By doing that, we actually fine-tuned the handle's weight to be perfect. This, matched with the adjustments I made to the blade, all result in a very pleasant flipping experience all around. It excels in basically everything I've thrown at it, from fanning to ladders and everything in between. As a matter of fact, I've actually been learning brand new tricks on this thing due to the flippability of the Balisong and how confident I feel with it, such as scissors and the giraffe. The goal here was to really create something worthy of that pro title. I don't take an upgrade lightly at all. Instead, I am much more willing to wait and delay something until I think it is fully ready. And so I can say with confidence that I do think the Vulp Pro is ready. Of course, it can't possibly be the best flipper ever made, but that's not the point. For me personally, I do believe that this is the best flipper for under $150. All right, look, we need to talk about the elephant in the room.
Or the giant moose in the corner.
Brandon, I think your ride's here.
Albino sentient moose, I told you not to bother me when I'm working. I will milk you later.
No, not that one, not that one. This one. This is the Vulp Pro False Live Blade. That's right, just like Nabali's has done with some of their previous products, we created a blade for the Vulp Pro that has no edge, but you can easily add one with the right tools. For me, the addition of this blade brings the Vulp Pro to a whole new level. I did everything possible to make sure that the style was spot on with the trainer version, matching the silhouette perfectly and adding this fuller that matches the cutout in the trainer. The fuller is for more than looks though. It also actually helps to reduce the weight of the false blade in the right spot to replicate the balance of the trainer perfectly. Some of our viewers have rightfully pointed out that the Vulp Pro Live Blade does look similar to a currently discontinued variant of the LDY Cygnus. And while yes, they do indeed look similar, I didn't take inspiration from the Cygnus for my blade design. I directly took the Vulp Pro trainer blade buoy profile and reimagined it as a live blade. And then I took the exact shape of this cutout on the trainer and used it as a fuller. And that just so happened to make it look very similar to the one on the Cygnus. What are you gonna do? So, while the Cygnus handles did inspire the Vulp Pro handles, I wanna be clear about that, the Cygnus blade has no effect on my design process for the Vulp Pro Live Blade. LDY even actually reached out to me recently to say that they don't mind the blade design and even appreciate being given credit for inspiring the handle design. So, thank you, LDY.
Nope, you're a thief and a fraud. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. How dare you not let your design looking vaguely similar to another design not stop you dead in your tracks like a fool, a fool.
Are you done?
Yeah, for now.
Cool. All of this design leads to a flipping experience that is just as fantastic as the trainer version, with the added edge, with that added edge of, well, almost an edge. Why is there not an edge? Well, in short, it's mostly due to shipping challenges from China to the rest of the world. Shipping sharp blades is actually really tricky, even for American makers, let alone shipping blades internationally from China, so that's why we're only able to do a false edge live blade. If you would like to learn more about how to sharpen your own false live blade like I have done myself, or any live blade in general, check out this video on my second channel where I dive into exactly how I achieved that myself. We actually even changed the blade steel to AUS 10 from the original 440C of the trainer. AUS 10 is a good steel that's equivalent to the AEV-L used in the Cracker-Akin. It's a good steel with great edge retention. And if you have the trainer Vulp Pro and want to try the false live blade, Nabali's has made both black and silver blades available for purchase separately on nabalis.com. Just note that you might have to tune the bushings yourself when you install it. Links for that are down below. Sharpening the false live blade is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to modding the Vulp Pro though. There are many more things you can do, such as dyeing this white G10 any color you please, installing 3D printed mods from awesome people like Zippy, links below for that, thank you Zippy, and even something as simple as handle swapping a couple different handles for a multicolored experience. Nibali sells both black and white G10s separately on their website if you want to go on your own modding journey. My own daily driver is a sharpened live blade orange variant with black G10 that I actually took from a gold version. As you can see, I just swapped them. I left the hardware silver, and I love the contrast it provides. Let me know if you'd like to see this exact thing released someday as like a special edition down in the comments. I've been thinking on that. Our resident expert on modding the Vulp Pro, Brandon T. Baker, the T stands for teeth, actually created an entire video about modding his own Vulp Pro. So I'm gonna let him take over for a bit and tell you his thoughts on, oh God, he's biting me, he's biting me.
There are only two things that a Brandon clone needs to survive: a decent Balisong and tasty Hirsch meat. One of these is made of 85% metal, and the other is made of 85% bitch. As for the former, I do think that the Vulp Pro is just lovely. It combines everything that Will and I love about our whole collections. Shiny and grippy aluminum like on the Crackerakin and Prisma Pro, grippy and customizable G10 like on the Nautilus and the Cygnus, and a trainer blade with some holes just waiting to be filled by Zippy Balisong. Zippy, you did a great job of filling my holes. Wink sound effect, wink sound effect, wink sound effect.
And mine.
Nobody cares. Wink sound effect, wink sound effect. Customizing my Vulp Pro, as well as being deeply involved with the entire Vulp Pro development process, is one of my favorite things that I've gotten to do in this hobby yet. And I feel it represents what makes not only the Vulp Pro cool, but just this whole freaking hobby in general. There are so many incredible options no matter what price point you're at these days, and I think that the Vulp Pro finds a good middle ground of price, performance, reliability, and customizability. I was initially upset that we didn't go for this slight upgrade version of the Vulp Pro, but seeing it in its current form, I'm so glad that it landed where it did. I'm still not the best judge of flippability of most Balisongs, but from my less experienced perspective, the Vulp Pro is an excellent Balisong to learn tricks on, which I've already done with tricks like the aerial to chaplain, which I can't do. I can't do it because I'm not good enough. I'm never gonna be good enough. So you know what? I'm done with this. Is that my cue? Am I good? Okay. I'll do an aerial to chaplain. That was a little sloppy, but I did it. And while my custom Vulp Pro flips quite differently from pretty much anything else in my collection, both the live blade, which was not set up at all because we fucking suck at both the live blade and the trainer feel pleasantly similar in pretty much every way, at least to me. It's a nice balance of feel in the hand while just being light enough and carrying enough momentum to be a huge upgrade over the original Vulp. There's like 40 of them here. It's not my favorite Balisong of all time or anything like that. That contested crown would still go to something like my Crackerakin V1 or my Nautilus V2 or Medusa V2 or something like my Seraph. But for me, trying to set aside myself from any and all bias that I might have towards it, because I obviously do, but really trying to set myself aside from that, it's solid. Like 90% great and only like 10% bitch. I already went absolutely buck wild with customizing this, but there are so many options left for customization, especially with the new addition of purple handles, that myself and the rest of the community are definitely not gonna stop customizing Vulp Pros anytime soon. We spent a lot of time, trying to nail down a price that we were happy with, and ultimately decided on one that was the best balance of value and being able to keep the lights on, because we have a lot. We have a lot of lights. Light. That's a lot of fucking lights. So if the Vulp Pro is out of your reach financially, we still think the original Vulp is a great option for those starting out in this amazing hobby, and it has everything that you need to get started. And the Vulp Pro wasn't intended to be one of the absolute best or cheapest Balisongs in the world. It was designed to give owners of the original Vulp something solid to upgrade to as they continue their Balisong journey. And I do think the Vulp Pro is perfect for that. But it's time for me to do what any pro should do, which is brush his teeth, put put on a suit, grab my suited Balisong and put it into my suit, finally get a revenge slap on Will, and head to work. We'll see you next time. The video's not over though. Please stay.
One last thing I'd like to talk about is the awesome community response we've had from the Vulp Pro. You've already seen some of that in this video. We featured a number of community submitted clips and photos throughout the runtime of this, and I would like to thank each and every one of you for participating and sending in your own clips. We wanted to do another community voted BS score for the Vulp Pro, the same way that we did with the original Vulp. So a huge thank you to all of you who submitted your thoughts. Here is the community voted score for the Vulp Pro. As you can see, the Vulp Pro got a 54 overall, which just so happens to be the same score as the Seraph and the Invictus. Personally, I'm very happy with the score the Vulp Pro got. I want to be clear, Brandon and I did not influence this score at all. This is from more than 20 people voting their real votes, and then they were averaged to the nearest whole number for each score. Thank you all. I'm very glad that you're all enjoying it as much as I had hoped you would. This project was seriously a real work of love, and I'm very glad to be able to share it with all of you. So thank you so much. Now, if you would like some less biased opinions on the Vulp Pro than ours, because we made it, check the description for links to a bunch of community videos about the Vulp Pro. There have been more and more Balisong content creators popping up every single day, and I am so happy to see it. So please support them at the links below. We are doing our best to make products that are ethically produced at a good value and something that people can enjoy, but obviously we're not gonna be perfect all the time. So if you yourself have any thoughts, positive or negative, please leave them in the comments below. We will be reading the comments on this video. And I want to extend a special thank you to each and every person that has bought a Vulp or Vulp Pro already. I need to be completely honest here in saying that your support has been the reason we've been able to keep doing this. YouTube revenue for our channel is not even close to sustainable for us. So the bulk of our support ends up coming from our collaborations that we've done with companies like Nibali's or Squid Industries. Speaking of Nibali's, we owe so much to them for this existing. While we've had some bumps in the road here and there, working with them has been awesome, and it feels great to collaborate with a company that genuinely cares about making original and unique designs for this incredible community, and really listening to the community about what they want, which is something we try to do as well. We also owe so much to our incredible Patreon supporters. Not only do they support us very directly, but they were some of the first people to jump at the opportunity to get a Vulp Pro. Having a private community of people to interact with through our Discord is awesome, and getting to share the nitty-gritty details about upcoming new projects is really fun. If you want to join awesome supporters like Moth and MCK Balisong, tiers start at just $3 a month, which give you early access to videos like these and full clearance of your criminal record. My lawyers have just informed me that I need to clarify that that last line was a joke.
What are you gonna do?
But that's pretty much it for the moment. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's time to slap Brandon one last time.
Never!
Fair.